There are several physical differences between the two devices, the Note 7 and the Note 8. First of all, the Note 7 first became available in 2016 in August. The Note 8 became available in September 2017. On the front, you can see that the Note 7 has a button at the bottom, which is also the fingerprint reader. The Note 8, on the other hand, does not. It has more screen on the front. If we look on the back side of the two devices, you'll see that the Note 7 had a single camera. The Note 8 has a dual camera system. And the fingerprint reader is also moved to the back of the Note 8. Along the side, on the Note 7, there are two buttons for the volume. On the Note 8, there is a volume rocker, and then there's an additional button which is called the Bixby button for the digital assistant. On the right-hand side, both devices have a power button. You'll notice some minor differences between the Android versions here. The icons, for example, the gallery icon slightly different, the video icon slightly different. The icons are actually a little rounder. The home button on the Note 7 is an actual physical button. On the Note 8, it is a on-screen button. The back button is in the same place. I have the back button turned off on this one. So if I open up, for example, the weather, one of the differences, of course, between these devices is that the Note 7 was running Android 6.01 and the Note 8 is running Android 7.1.1. The menus are changed, and there's also a difference between these two devices. This is a Verizon configured device, and this is a stock unlocked Samsung device. Now, one difference between these two devices, given that this is designed for Verizon or configured for Verizon and this is not, is that there is no Wi-Fi calling feature on the unlocked version. Now, you'll notice the screens are a little bit larger in the Note 8. You get an extra about 40 pixels on the top and 40 pixels on the bottom. There's a slight curve to the screen, a little bit more than on the Note 7. There is a tiny bit of curve toward the top of the Note 7, but not a whole lot. To see how much extra screen real estate you're really getting, you could go to like the Google News, and as that comes up, you'll be able to see how many stories that you can read on each side. Now, you can hide these buttons down here by double touching this little dot. That will disappear and it gives you a little more space on the home screen so you can see a little more information. Here in the Google Maps app, you can again see the slight difference between the Note 7 and the Note 8. Another example with the Wikipedia homepage, you can see the page display is practically the same. The only difference is you get a little more space towards the bottom of the screen. Using the Reuters app, again, we can see that the images are almost identical. Same amount of text, we just get a little bit more of the space towards the bottom here, in this case, taken up by an advertisement. You'll also notice there's a slight difference between what notifications are showing in the top bar. The notification size is a little bit different. The font size is a little bit narrower on this phone, although that may be something that's available in setting. The camera on the Note 8 has a couple extra features that the Note 7 camera does not have, and that's because of the dual lens. So here's a picture of my son, and you'll see that the background is out of focus. That's because there's a mode in the camera where you can, when you go to the camera, go to what's called live focus. And what live focus will do is it will use both of the lenses, both of the cameras on the other side, and it will zoom in to 2x zoom using the zoom camera, and that will allow you to take your photo and blur the background. So you want to have your subject nice and still, and it's kind of a neat feature, but again, your subject has to be only 5 to 6 feet in front of you and not really moving around. Now, another feature that I was looking forward to is to see how much zoom, how much better quality zoom there would be. So here's a picture I took of a cereal box. and this was maybe 25 feet away from where I was at. This on the Note 7 was with the zoom all the way zoomed in. Okay, so I believe it said 8 times zoom. And you'll notice if I enlarge this, that is kind of out of focus there. Okay, with the Note 8 zooming in, it does look a little bit sharper. So for a telephoto photo where you're zooming in, the Note 8 clearly has better quality than the Note 7. This photo was taken at the 2 times zoom level. That should be an optical 2 times zoom on the Note 8 and a digital on the Note 7. If we pinch zoom in, we'll see the quality difference between the two devices. Now, one thing I did notice, the Note 7 does allow you to magnify the image a bit more. I'm not sure why that is the case, but in order to get these the same size, we have to pinch to these levels here. But you should still be able to see that we have a little more quality when we're using the Note 8 camera, because it's using the zoom camera, whereas the Note 7 is just using the single camera and it doesn't get quite as high resolution. Now, one thing I did notice about that second camera is the second camera does not work if it is dim, if there's not a lot of light. The software apparently will only select the zoom camera, that second camera, and that second camera is this one here. That's the zoom camera. It will only select that one if there's enough light. And a way you can test that is simply when you're taking a picture, hide or put your finger partly above the wide angle lens, which is this middle lens, and then you can kind of see when you zoom in whether or not it's working or not. So I'll give you kind of a little demonstration here. So I'm going to turn the camera on, and I'm going to go to double zoom, and now I'm going to put my finger over the lower lens, and you can see that you can see something. Now I go back to the full zoom, there's my finger, and sometimes when you flip back and forth, it will choose the top camera, and sometimes it won't. So I haven't exactly figured everything out on that. But to get the full zoom quality, you need for it to be using the top camera. You'll notice that the screens are very similar in both of these devices. If you want to use the full screen, for example, to look at a photo, you'll notice that the Note 8 does have a larger screen. It's probably an additional, it looks like 3/4 of an inch. And the width, though, is exactly the same. A couple things that I do a lot is to change the screen to negative mode or inverse mode. There is a shortcut with the Note 7, which is to triple click on the home button. Now that does not work on the Note 8. I have it configured in the accessibility so that by pressing the top volume control and the power button, it will come on to the negative mode. I'm not really sure why the negative mode color is a little bit different here. It might be how I have my settings. So I'm going to change this back. And I actually like the implementation a little bit better on the 2-button changing to negative mode, because the three click is kind of tricky to do, and I found that the double click is a little bit easier. The taking a screenshot is a little bit different also. So to take a screenshot on the Note 7, you would hold down the home button and the power button simultaneously, and for about a second and a half. Let's see if we can get that to go. Okay. To do the same thing on the Note 8, you need to hold down the bottom volume and the power. And then it would take the screenshot. The S Pen implementation on the Note 7 and Note 8 is very familiar, or very similar, I should say. I believe it's actually the same S Pen that comes with both devices. So if you have an S Pen from one, then you can use it with the other. Perhaps there's a small difference. I'm not really sure about that. If you go to the settings or the note features here, you'll notice a slight difference. We still have Create a Note, then we have Select Smart, Screen Write, Translate, but now we have Live Messages in here and View All Notes. Now View All Notes I actually found to be a helpful shortcut because you can tap on that, you can go to your notes, select the note that you want and go to Edit and go to ABC, and then it's quickly or easy to do that. On this device, going to create a note, suddenly you're in the Create a Note, and so that takes an extra step without the pen to get into where you want to be. Thank you very much for watching this comparison video between the Note 7 and the Note 8. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the box below, and please like the video, and if you want to, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful day.